Hello, I'm Jan Sherwiński and you're watching Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you everything you need to know. A group of senior citizens has decided life is best spent not watching TV, knitting, or even streaming Skyrim online, but on shilling for Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. That's how they became Putin's Squad, the worst sort of fanboys, the kind of stans that'll chase you down for so much as giving their idol the wrong look. If you thought Swifties or K-pop fans could be a bit intense, well, think again. And now they're back with an instructional video that promises to be right up there with all those how to drink water tutorials. Specifically, this one's intended as a tutorial on using the internet. And before you drop your jaw on the floor in disbelief, the title of this masterpiece may give you a hint, a little taste of things to come. It's called No VPN. Simple as that. Right, let's see what we're dealing with here.
Ну, включи ты VPN. Включи.
Не могу.
Ну, пожалуйста, ну, включи.
Я не могу включить VPN. Я в отрядах Путина.
Закрой глазки. Никакого VPN.
Ты ж видела, что я не включал его, не включал.
Я видела. А иначе бы ты присоединился бы к ней. Выключайте VPN и включайтесь в отряды Путина.
Wow, just wow. And everything would be fine if it wasn't for one little detail. They posted the video on Instagram. The same Instagram that is banned, blocked and declared extremist in Russia. Yeah, it sounds like a joke, but it's actually true. In order to see how these old ladies are taking the fight to the decadent West online, users had to turn on their VPN. In other words, they recorded an appeal against the information contagion of the West and then posted it in the very place you're not supposed to visit. Catch-22. The Russian authorities have long been fighting, not against technology, but against common sense. VPNs are evil, but even officials use them to watch Netflix and read uncensored news about themselves. Instagram is banned, but patriots use it to post videos about the fight against Western influence. So, to sum up, Putin's Squad recorded a video against VPNs, then posted it on Instagram so it can only be viewed via VPN, which means they themselves have become the main ambassadors for VPNs in Russia, I guess. Can't wait for the potential sequel. Video games will ruin your life. A live event delivered through Roblox. During another broadcast, Russian propagandist Vladimir Solovyov decided to raise the stakes once again. His latest effort resembled less an analytical program and more a scene from an apocalyptic blockbuster. The host promised to end the existence of humanity if Ukraine were to receive Tomahawk missiles. This was followed by a standard set of cinematic agony. We will activate our strategic doctrine, we will strike the West, and the true rotten cherry on top, I will go to heaven, but America and Europe will not. And you know what? It's Solovyov, so all of this is kind of to be expected. The man can get a bit dramatic, especially when he enters the copium overdose mode because reality proves a bit too much for him. And with that much apocalyptic imagination, one wishes he had become like a film director, a Russian version of Roland Emmerich. But instead of that, yeah, we get another weekly rant. Let's get this over with.
Томагавк уже и есть та самая ракета, запуск которой однозначно, ну, скажем так, резко повышает вероятность. Мы же, как мы можем знать, какой там стоит боезаряд? Поэтому по самому факту пуску, по идее, так как это стратегическое оружие, активируется наша ядерная доктрина ответного встречного удара. Ну да. Человечество на этом прекратит свое существование, наверное. Но мы-то попадем в рай, а они просто сдохнут.
Like we already said on at least one episode, our days since last nuclear threat counter has to be reset once again. Okay, so let's examine this in some detail, because these statements are not just outrageous, but also fake. See, Russia has a track record of empty nuke threats. Over the years, Russian journalists in name only suggested an imminent live-action roleplay of the Fallout video game series over a whole bunch of issues. When the Ukraine was about to get a new weapon type, like Western-made tanks or fighter jets, there was at least an implied suggestion that Moscow might just be polishing its warheads. Spoiler alert, it never happened. Russia tries to exercise reflexive control by keeping the Western public in a state of anxiety and overexcitement. Nuclear saber-rattling is a classic example of that. However, with the invasion of Ukraine, there is also another phenomenon. Video game fans might call it a hidden mechanic. Initially, Russia will always have a public meltdown over a given weapon system, like the Patriot launchers or cruise missiles, such as the Storm Shadow. But if the West proceeds with deliveries regardless, the Russian officials usually begin what I call the journey to the Cape of Good Cope. First, they say, if you deliver these weapons, they won't make a difference anyway. And recently, Dmitry Peskov said just that. Not a game changer, won't affect battlefield situation, and so on and so on. And finally, after anger and denial, there comes acceptance, which is never official, so we can presume it may involve a sad Vladimir Putin looking wistfully out of the window at a burning refinery. Solovyev is still in his anger stage, but it seems like the Kremlin is already moving on. Now, most of you have already seen a fair share of AI slop, but let me tell you, nothing can prepare you for what you're about to witness today. Imagine using AI to revive dead Russian troops for a very social media friendly video of them ascending to meet their maker. And I'm not even kidding. Here is a quote. With the help of neural networks and careful editing, we recreate the moment. Necro-marketing at its very best, or worst, depending on the point of view. So here's the deal. AI technologies in Russia have officially gained a new application. Posthumous video farewells to those killed in war. And the results are not very heavenly, to be honest. The average price for this wonderful farewell is $20. If you want the hero to go up the stairs to heaven after the hug, pay an extra $5, and so on. I suppose they could also make the deceased turn into a dove for an extra fee. Additional options are also available, you see. Photoshop, because, sometimes paradise needs retouching, real voice recording, which is another $50 by the way, and if you choose that, the neural network will speak with the voice of the deceased. Welcome to the afterlife chat room. Also, there is urgent delivery. If the soul can't wait in line, pay extra, and the heavens will open faster. The project was created by 36-year-old Anna. She says that these videos are deep, personal projects. However, it looks more like a postmodern cemetery and TikTok-friendly format. In the new Russia, death is not the end, apparently, it's online content. And if you think that's cynical, wait until the Yandex Afterlife Plus subscription comes out one day. The first minute is free, the rest is charged at the eternal memory of advertising rate. And until Putin himself walks towards the pearly gates, this stuff will continue. Because apparently nobody in the Kremlin ever asked ChatGPT how not to lose over 1 million dead and wounded troops. If the AI chatbot told Putin to simply stop the war, The next day, all artificial intelligence would probably get banned across all Russia, and that would be the end of it. And with this, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.